Namaskar and welcome to Sansad Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our special show Perspective, where we bring you detailed analysis of key national and international issues. And today we're going to talk about a very important and a significant international issue, that is the ongoing rift between China and Taiwan. In fact, democratically ruled Taiwan has complained of stepped up military and political pressure from Beijing to force it to accept Chinese rule. Over the last weekend, Chinese President Xi Jinping reiterated a vow to reunify Taiwan. This was followed by People's Liberation Army Daily's official newspaper in a brief report on its microblogging account saying China's military had carried out beach landing and assault drills in the province directly across the sea from Taiwan, though it did not link these exercises to current tensions with Taipei. According to reports, China's Air Force has also carried out a series of aerial intrusions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone recently, with a record 38 aircrafts on 1st of October, when China marked its National Day, followed by 39 aircrafts on 2nd of October, 16 on 3rd of October, and 56 on 4th of October. While Taiwan's defense minister described the current tensions between the two nations as the worst in 40 years, Taiwanese president has said that her country will not be forced to bow to China. China claims Taiwan as part of its national territory, although the island has been self-ruled since it split from the communist-ruled mainland in 1949 after a long civil war. So today we're going to understand not only the genesis of this particular rift, but also what actually is happening right now with this rift between China and Taiwan is concerned, and also as to how it might proceed further. And for more on this, we're joined by three distinguished experts. Let me first introduce them to you. Beginning with, we have Mr. Shrikant Kondapalli in the studio with us. He's Professor at the Center for East Asian Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University. We're also joined by Mr. Alok Bansal, Director of India Foundation, and Mr. Liu Roger. He's Associate Professor International Studies at Flame University in Pune. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Sansad TV. Let me begin with you, Professor Kondapalli, and let's first start by understanding the genesis of this particular tension, the simmering tension which has been ongoing between China and Taiwan, and where do we stand today?
Well, it began in 1949 when the Kuomintang lost the civil war with the Communist Party, and they moved on to Taiwan with over 1,000 families. And then in 1958, there was the first Taiwan Strait crisis. And in 1996, when China launched the live missiles across the east of Taiwan and southwest of Taiwan, closer to Kaohsiung, the M9 missiles in 1996, in order to deter the Taiwanese going for elections for the first time in their history. And of course, we are now seeing the Chinese Air Force violating the ADIZ of Taiwan with those 150-odd aircraft flying in this region. So that is the broad history of that crisis in Taiwan Straits. The Chinese claim that Taiwan belongs to them, while the Taiwanese are saying that the mandate has to be with the Taiwanese people in terms of the elections, in terms of the democratically elected. So the Kuomintang is reunification in that direction, while the DPP, the ruling party, has in its constitution independence, although they did not move so far in the independent manner, whether in terms of declaring independence or in any other format, that they have not moved in that direction. However, the Chinese are suggesting about the 6 no's in the 19th Communist Party Congress about no country, no organization, no institution, no individual, etc., can wean away Taiwan from China. So that's the pledge that Xi Jinping had suggested in 2017.
Okay, and what's the stand of other countries, big powers, vis-a-vis this rift going on between China and Taiwan?
While many countries have accepted the one China principle in terms of declaring, for example, the 3 communiques the US, China have on the peaceful resolution and that there exists only one China, nevertheless, there is also now the growing reality of Taiwan as a major actor, both in the Indo-Pacific as well as in terms of an IT semiconductor base. For example, they control nearly 40% of the global hardware systems and extremely talented people all across Taiwan. So this is a new reality. And we have a new model now with Lithuania shifting from TECC to that of Taiwan office. So that's a new model that has come up. Probably other countries may adopt this model.
Okay, that's a very significant point you made there, Professor Kondapalli, and we'll come to that also in terms of understanding how major international powers are trying to position themselves. But let me bring in the other two guests here. Mr. Roger, I'd like to start with you, and we would like to first understand what's the feeling amongst the Taiwanese people, out there, as in terms of China's aggression, one, and two, the road forward from here.
Well, thank you very much. What I would like to share is that people of my age actually has experienced what Professor Kondapalli has mentioned. During 1995 to 1996, the Chinese government had actually, by launching a military exercise very close to the island of Taiwan, they tried to scare Taiwanese people to vote for the candidate that they wanted. But they failed during that time. So after all those years, well, the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party has learned to do things in a more smarter way. Well, they try to change the tactics from a one-time showdown to attrition warfare. Mm-hmm. So since 2017, under the new leadership of Xi Jinping, actually, he asked the military to use the Circulating the Island cruise using the PLAF, the PLA Air Force military aircraft, and use the PLA Navy's cruise ships around Taiwan, trying to send a message to the Taiwanese people and put pressure on the Taiwanese military system.
Okay.
So, militarily, the Taiwanese people actually has been immune to that. But the cool fact here is that the military, objectively speaking, the military balance between Taiwan and China has been tipped to the side of the PLA, to the side of the CCP. Because for all those years, they've been accumulating their weapon systems. Well, they acquired 2 aircraft carriers, and they even sailed to the eastern part of Taiwan. So the strategic depth that Taiwan used to enjoy by its air force especially now has been broken up by the constant aerial intrusion launched by the PLAF.
Okay.
And by doing that, actually, they try to put everything into a fait accompli to ask not only the Taiwanese people, but the international community to accept this new reality that the PLAF actually has the right to circulate around Taiwan.
Okay. Mr. Bansal, your views there on not only the current situation, but as Mr. Roger is pointing out, vis-a-vis the military balance between both sides here, China and Taiwan, there is a gradual shift.
See, historically, we need to understand that there was a time, of course, Professor Kondapalli has talked about the Civil War. And after the Civil War, initially, the Republic of China, that is the Kuomintang government, held on to Henan Island also. They lost Henan subsequently, where PLA managed to push that. There was also Kuomintang forces located in Yunnan in a big way, which had to be pushed out to Myanmar. In fact, these forces subsequently became a big issue. And these forces were actually repatriated. There were 2 divisions almost which were repatriated from then Burma all the way to Taiwan subsequently. So we have a long history of Kuomintang or ROC fighting with them. But what has happened is that till 70s and 80s, Taiwan or Republic of China enjoyed a qualitative edge over People's Republic of China, both in terms of economy as well as in terms of military.
Okay.
In terms of military, PLA was much larger, but Taiwanese forces had qualitative edge, especially in the field of Navy and Air Force. Now that qualitative edge has subsequently eroded. And what is more significant is that from 1971 onwards, when Richard Nixon, the US president, went to China in 72 February, in fact, but they started kowtowing with China in July 71. And People's Republic of China replaced Republic of China as a permanent member of the Security Council in the United Nations. The US stand has been a fairly ambivalent one. And in recent times, what has happened is, with the election victory of President Xi repeatedly in 2 terms, that Xi Jinping has realized that Taiwan is pursuing an agenda which may put it into a confrontation. And Xi Jinping feels probably to test his military prowess and show his aggression. This is probably the best test case.